Welcome into Wager Talk TV alongside Andy Lang and Tony Mejia of WagerTalk.com. I'm Meghan Payton. It's time for our holiday edition of our NFL Week 16 previews. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles in Dallas taking on the Cowboys. Dallas a 5-point favorite, the total at 47. Both teams are in the playoffs. The Eagles can clinch the NFC East with a win on Saturday, Christmas Eve. The kickoff is at 4:25 p.m. Eastern. Here's the thing. Jalen Hurts, it's the big question mark. He's got a shoulder sprain that happened last week. He continued to play through the shoulder sprain. He's questionable for this week's game, and he's a huge part to this Philly offense. I don't know if it's enough to sway the point spread all the way to Dallas -5. Tony, I'll come to you first. I look at the Eagles as a bit more of a complete team than that. What are you leaning on for Cowboys-Eagles with or without Jalen Hurts?
Well, I mean, unless it's a situation where he can't do any more damage, I think it's crazy to play Jalen Hurts if he's not 100%. I mean, you're essentially a win or a Vikings loss away from wrapping up home field in the NFC. So you take the wait and see approach. And Gardner Minshew, give him some work. I mean, he is obviously a little bit in bereavement mode with Mike Leach, his college coach, having passed away, and he was at the funeral for Leach earlier this week, but he should be good to go and motivated for this contest. He actually played in last season's Week 18 loss, and that's one thing. Dak Prescott didn't play in the earlier meeting between these teams, but last year he threw 8 touchdown passes, and the Cowboys racked up over 90 points and 92-47 to be exact, in sweeping the season series from Philadelphia. Eagles have not swept the Cowboys since 2011, so there's that. But at this point, I think Dallas hasn't played well whatsoever. They've really struggled in December, scuffled with the Colts before that 33-0 fourth quarter. They had to rally past the Texans in a game they were down the entire time, and they squandered a 27 halftime lead against the Jaguars, ultimately ending up with the loss on the walk-off pick 6. So haven't played well. I think they will play well in this game, but I could see the Eagles, with nothing to lose, if Minshew plays well, hanging around in this game. Maybe the over is worth a look, considering weather won't be a factor indoors. I think Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown are worth a look, because the Cowboys' secondary is pretty depleted at this point. So there's a lot of ways you can slice up this game. I think it'll be competitive, and I don't expect to see Jalen Hurts.
I'd agree with you, Tony. It feels like a year ago that we saw this original matchup in October, but it's funny, Andy, they match up really well, the Eagles and the Cowboys. Eagles offensively, 2nd in points per game. Cowboys, 3rd points per game. Eagles are 4th in rushing yards per game. Cowboys, 7th in rushing yards per game. And defensively, same thing. Eagles are 1st in pass defense. Cowboys are 3rd in pass defense, 6th in points allowed for the Eagles, and 7th points allowed for Dallas. I like this one. I think it's going to be close no matter who's at quarterback. Any player props or props in general that you're looking at for Philly, Dallas?
Yeah, you touched on the passing defense, and I think that's where I'm going to focus. The Eagles only allowing 172.4 yards passing this season, but small sample size. Just in the last 3, they've only allowed 131. The last 3 games, so that defense is really dialed in. Dak Prescott's best passing total this season is only 284, so he hasn't even gotten to the 300-yard mark. That was against the Houston Texans, a terrible defense. So I would be looking at Dak Prescott's under. But I'm going to go back to the one that just keeps cashing every single game for the Dallas Cowboys, and that's Ezekiel Elliot to score a touchdown. He has scored in 7 straight games, which is just incredible. And the streak started against the Philadelphia Eagles. So I would look for him to get into the end zone again. The Eagles have given up 12 rushing touchdowns. It's middle of the road, so they're not an elite defense at keeping running backs out of the end zone. So give me Zeke to score, and I'll be looking at Dak Prescott under his passing total.
Kickoff 4:25 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, Christmas Eve. In case you're not aware, don't turn your channels on just on Sunday. Majority of the games are going to be on Christmas Eve, Saturday, December 24th. Cowboys, Eagles in Jerry's world. Cowboys -5 as of now. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Tony. Amazing stuff from you as always. More from them on WagerTalk.com, and go give them a follow on Twitter. That's at Bump Sports for Andy and at Mejia Dinero for Tony. Stay with us. We've got more NFL Week 16.